Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to open up and disassemble this Dell Inspiron 7380. Alright, so this laptop, the battery's gone bad, it's inflating, and it's actually pushing the touchpad out. Let me see if I can show you. Yeah, you see that? It's pushing it out. So we're going to replace the battery, and hopefully the touchpad will go back in by itself. Sometimes it pries up some adhesive, so we'll see. Alright, anyways, we're going to be using a JAS1 screwdriver to remove all the screws from the bottom. Let's go ahead and remove those. Looks like those screws actually stay in place. If the screws do come out, you do want to keep them in order because they can be different size, shape, and length. Oh, this one came out. Alright, the way I do that, I put them flat side down like that on my desk in the pattern I remove them. Something tells me that screw normally should stay in because the way the screw is, I don't know if it will focus. You can see like the top half is smooth. So usually that smooth portion is the part that comes up, and then the rest kind of stays inside the case. But see, like this one, it doesn't have the smooth part. It's all threaded all the way up. So yeah, anyways, we're gonna go ahead and remove all these screws. I don't know what my cat's meowing about. But we're gonna remove all these screws. Okay, and then we're gonna pop it open. If this video helps you out, make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Alright, that's screwed for some reason. I don't know why some of these screws are kind of going underneath the case here. That's kind of weird. Okay, there we go. So I don't know if the customer ended up breaking some plastic or the battery. Oh, maybe the bulging battery is causing that problem. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we got all those screws out. Let's go ahead now and pop the bottom cover off. Make sure you don't lose these screws in case they randomly fly out. Okay, probably gonna have to remove this post-it note because I don't know if it has personal information. Actually it doesn't have anything, it just tells me like the specs. Okay, the customer put that there. So first thing we're gonna do, normally because these screws pop up, you'd start from here. So I kind of get my fingernails in there and I push on the back with my thumb and then pull with my fingers outwards. Okay, and this side though, it seems like it's pretty stuck. Let's try from the back here. Okay, you can see that's popping out. Okay, we'll go to here, same thing, that side popped out. Good. We're gonna go over here. I keep my finger wrapped over the outside just in case so it doesn't fall over. Alright, but it looks like this side doesn't want to come out. So let's actually go from the front. Normally on computers I go from the front side here. Okay, where I get my fingernails in the gap there, and then I push with my thumbs here. This one, the battery was pushing on it, so that might actually have helped pop it out more. So if you can't get it out, I'm not too sure what to tell you, but you can hear the clips popping there. Okay, we're going to rotate it over to the side, and we're going to continue going. Okay, we'll go to the other side and continue the same thing. Alright, and yes, you can use plastic pry tools here. A lot of people tell me they don't have fingernails to do this, or I don't know, but yeah. Alright, you can use plastic pry tools or whatever works for you. Okay, this side edge is being kind of a pain. Doesn't really want to come out, so I'm not too sure how I'm going to go about removing that. Let's see, can we go from this side? Okay, there we go. Got a little bit, there we go. Okay, and there we go. And carefully lift it up just in case. Alright, there we go. We got the bottom cover off. That's what it looks like inside, and you can see the screws hold themselves in place. Okay, I am gonna have to dust this off later. We'll set that aside for now, and you can see here how the battery's all inflated. It's a 38 watt hour battery type model, is F62G0. Let me make sure the replacement is the same. Yep, F62G0, because I didn't open this one in advance to double check, because the customer just wanted me to order the battery right away. So here's what it looks like. Okay, there's the battery. Set that aside. Maybe we need a thumbnail here of this expanding, exploding battery. Okay, so I'll leave that there. We'll get a thumbnail. All right, so next thing, we're gonna have to replace these two pieces. So let's go ahead and remove the battery. The way you do that, it's gonna be a little difficult. I kind of hate these models, the way they design this battery connector here, because it has this little piece here. So what I do is I use like a small screwdriver, something like this maybe, that I can kind of get in that gap. Oh, that's a little bit too big. Let me get a smaller one. Do I have a smaller one? Okay, maybe this one. So I'll get it in that gap. And what I do is first I have to kind of lift this part of the connector up so I have something to kind of help hold and pull on. Okay, it looks like it kind of flaps, it tucked under there. So we're gonna kind of grab this, and I'm gonna use this to kind of push it like let me see if I can zoom out a little bit for you guys. Okay, so I use my hand to help push it like that, okay, while I kind of help guide this and pull it. So just like that. You can see it popped out a little. There we go. Okay, there we go. I don't know if there's a special tool to do that, but I just use something like that. And if you're wondering what that is, it's a 1.3 like hex. You can also use just a flathead screwdriver, whatever fits best into this little notch to kind of push it. Okay, there we go. Now let's go ahead and remove the battery screws. If you want to be extra safe before doing anything else, open up the laptop, okay, carefully, slowly, and then press and hold the power button for at least 15 seconds. This drains any residual power and makes it a lot safer to work on. All right, so we're gonna hold it for a few more seconds. This is very important when you're dealing with the screen. So yeah, all right, the trackpad already went back in quite a bit, so I think we should hopefully be good. All right, it did bend out some metal piece in here. I can't really do much about that other than having to replace a touchpad or trackpad, so we're gonna leave that, and let's go ahead and take the screws for the battery out. All right, we got one there. Let's see, any hidden ones? No, we got one here. We got one here. And we got one more here. All right, now that we got those four, we're gonna go ahead and lift this up. Oh, don't forget to untuck the speaker cables from here. Kind of annoying how they tuck it in there, but let's go ahead and grab that out. Lift that up, pull it out, lift that up, pull that out. That up, pull that out. All right, there we go. Now we're gonna go ahead and hopefully be able to lift the battery. Yep, there we go. Here you can see the touchpad, trackpad underneath. Be careful with the cabling and circuitry if you're cleaning it up. Okay, there we go. Okay, so yeah, the metal here got bent a little bit, so it's gonna be a little bit sticking up, but it's not really a big deal. It's not too much. All right, so we should be okay. It's definitely better than before. Okay, now to peel this off, all right, we are gonna have to transfer this over, so we're gonna peel this off. Okay, peel the adhesive. This adhesive is pretty strong. Oh, you can see also the adhesive kind of tears away right there. Kind of annoying. Okay. I don't tend to like this kind of fabric-y tape because that always happens. I was able to get more of it. Tiny bit of it stayed. All right. Then we'll grab from the bottom side as well as the top, and then we will wiggle and pull this, and there we go. All right, so we're gonna attach this to the new battery. So new battery looks like this. It's supposed to be flat like that, not all inflated like a balloon like this. Okay, so we're just gonna put this back in. Okay, and then push the battery connector into place. I use my fingernails along the edges. You can't really see, but at the plastic there's like these raised edges, so I use my fingernail to kind of pinch and push in there. Okay, and there we go. Then we can go ahead and put this tape back over. There's model information on this little thing if somebody lost it or broke it somehow, but there you go. Okay, we'll leave the battery set aside for now, and let's go ahead and take a closer look at the rest of the inside. Actually, let me dust it real quick and I'll be back. See you guys in a bit. All right, I'm back. Cleaned up the bottom here, cleaned up the fans and everything. There you go. A lot less dusty. Oh, the screws fell out of the cover, so I set them aside. But here you can see what the rest of the inside looks like. All right. CPU soldered to the motherboard. You got the touchpad, trackpad cable here, connects there to the motherboard here. They have these little flip latches. I'm not gonna remove them because the only issue they were having was the battery. Okay, then you got this cable here that goes to the little charge light indicator up front. You have this keyboard backlight connector. Keyboard connector, the latch is back here, and the same thing with this one, the latch is back there. You got the speaker here, which this kind of cable I just grab and kind of wiggle to pull it out. I'm going to leave it in there, but that cable connects to this speaker, and then there's a wire that runs along to the other speaker. CMOS, BIOS, RTC, real-time clock battery, whatever you want to call it, is right there. You do need this specific one. If you do replace it, make sure you do plug the red and black cables into the right side. The red one goes over here, and the black one goes over towards the SSD. Okay, you got this I/O board connector here, connects to the motherboard there. This has a little flip latch, like there's this metal bar that you have to kind of flip up before you can pull that out on both sides. So make sure you do that. You'd have to peel that up, and then you can flip this little latch up. All right, SD card slot, USB port are connected right there, as well as the power button. Okay, you have this little connector here, and it says FPR, so I'm guessing that means fingerprint reader or something. And I think that's the control board, because the fingerprint reader is actually built into the power button. So this is the fingerprint control board, and then that probably connects to the power button. Okay, and actually I can actually see the cable running along back there, the black one. There's a flat cable, or whatever you want to call it, and then the other end of this fingerprint reader cable, is it black? I can't tell. They kind of like made it go all over. Oh yeah. Okay, so they folded over this cable. It goes across the fan, and then it plugs to the motherboard here. You got the fan connector here. Okay, if you do need to remove the fan, you do have to remove all this. Either disconnect this from both sides or completely remove it. It is held in with adhesive, so it's kind of annoying. But yeah, then you got the LCD, LVDS, touchscreen, webcam. Looks like it's all built into one cable here. Same thing, has the metal flip latch. There's this metal bar that runs across that you do have to flip up to pull that out. Again, if you're gonna mess with this, make sure that you press and hold the power button for at least 15 seconds after disconnecting the battery. And if you need the cable, that stuff, I think it's upside down, but just flip your device upside down. All right, anyways, then you got the DC jack or charge port connector here. Very easy to replace, it looks like. One screw, then you can lift this thing out, and then this has the connector where you kind of grab and you just wiggle to pull it out. And I think that's pretty much it. Oh, there's the M.2 SSD. Let me see, what kind is this? This is a PCIe NVMe. Even though there are 2 notches in the SSD here, this is a PCIe NVMe SSD. All right, this metal bracket can be moved, and actually it's coming loose. So let me fix that real quick. Let me zoom in here. And then we're just gonna go ahead and replace the battery. You can see it supports all these different sizes, or I guess these 2 different sizes. We're gonna remove this again with the JS1. So here you can see this screw is kind of not, or this bracket's not holding well, or when I turned it, the whole bracket just moved. So we're gonna try and fix that, remove that screw. This comes up slightly, and then we can kind of wiggle and pull it back. All right, so here you can see this piece. So it supports, I guess, 3 sizes. So this piece, you can see we can kind of wiggle this and pull that out. A lot of times it doesn't come out that easily, and you might have to lift this thing because it has this bump that goes into that hole there, and then these two pieces have to go under. But yeah, so you can see it can go this way for the smallest size, which I guess is the 2230, right? And then the bigger, slightly bigger is 2242. So I think this goes by millimeters. This is a 30 millimeter drive, 42 millimeter drive, and then the usual size is this 80 millimeter. Okay, so if you wanted, you could transfer this bracket over here. You have to slide these two wings underneath there, and then you can push this one goes on top. All right, I'm not going to do that. And then if you want to use the 2242, then what you do is you rotate it this way, and then you would slide this in that way, so that way the screw ends up over here. Okay, but the one it came with is for the 2230. So I can actually measure to confirm. Let's see, we got a ruler here. I'm gonna start it over here, and 10, 20, 30. So the 30 millimeter is actually the entire length from the tip here to the tip here. Okay, 30 millimeters. Okay, anyways, we're gonna put this back in. So just push that in, and I guess it doesn't secure very well. Maybe the battery caused that to bend a little, because it comes out somewhat easily, but there we go. Okay, then we just get the SSD back in. Goes in at an angle like this. Okay, and then push that in. There we go. Get that lined up, and then we'll get this screw back into place, and we just tighten that back in. Okay, make sure that let me show you here. Make sure that the SSD does sit down properly. This metal ring where the screw goes in should raise up so that it's flush with the SSD. You don't want it to be, the SSD to be on top of that, because if the SSD is on top of that, then you're gonna crush it when you go to tighten the screw. Okay, so I don't know why this one, they designed it so loose it kind of wiggles around, but I'll hold that down, and there we go. Okay, so this SSD doesn't even secure very well to that. Okay, last part, we're just gonna get the battery back in, and then we'll put it back together. All right, since we didn't remove the CMOS BIOS battery, it shouldn't take long to boot up again. Let's go ahead and get this back in. So we'll line that battery connector up. I like to pinch both sides like this so that it's not having too much force all in one direction. Just like that. Get the battery lined up with the little raised whatever you call those, and then we're gonna get this cable tucked back in like before. Okay, just like that, and just like that. There we go. All right, so now we just got to get the 4 battery screws back in, and then we're gonna get the bottom cover back on. And if you're wondering, no, the RAM isn't upgradable, it's soldered to the motherboard. A lot of people ask me anyways if the RAM can be upgraded, or the CPU can be upgraded, things like that. Technically, the answer is, if you have a lot of money and you're willing to pay like several times the cost of your computer, then I guess technically you can upgrade it. Or if you have a friend that has like the special tools to remove these kinds of things, but you can only upgrade so far, so yeah, don't even bother. It's better to just buy a new computer at that point. All right, anyways, we're gonna zoom out. The other option is if they have a motherboard for the same model, then you could swap the whole motherboard, but again, I would say it's not worth it. All right, unless your motherboard's dead and you want to revive your computer. Okay, so here we go. We got the computer with the new battery. We're just going to get this bottom cover back on. Okay, line everything up, push it all down, click everything back into place. All right, looks good. You can kind of go around, make sure it looks good. And then we're just going to get all the screws back in. And that's pretty much all there is to this. Hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, please make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Again, every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Alright, you're welcome to stay as I get back the rest of these screws into place. Okay, so this one not want to go in properly. Or is that all it goes? I guess that's all it goes. Alright. And yeah. Alright, I am going to power it up just to show it still turns back on. But other than that, that's pretty much it. Okay, let's get all these back in. I've had on some videos, people will say, how come you didn't show it turning on? I mean, what I do on these disassembly, depending on your computer, if your computer's dead, it's not going to turn on after you take it apart and put it back together. So everybody's computer is different, whether mine turns on or doesn't. It's not going to fix your issues, so yeah. But I don't know, some people just like to see that it turns on afterwards. So let's go ahead and flip it over. I might have to plug it in because it might need charging, but okay, the keyboard's lighting up, so we should be good. There you go. Alright, so we'll let it go for a bit, and that should be it. I see the little thing spinning. It's probably going to show the username, so let me put it out of view. And then once it shows the login screen, I can show it. You can see it's showing the just a moment, so their thing was in the middle of an update, I guess. And yes, their trackpad is, it's not completely down as much as it should be. It should be a tiny bit, like half a millimeter or millimeter, but it's much better than before. Okay, and also before you couldn't push down the touchpad because of the battery issue, so now you can actually click it. All right, so it's still in the middle of updating something, but that's pretty much it. Hopefully it helped. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Oh, were they doing a clean install?
Hi there, I'm
What?
Cortana, and I'm here to help.
Be quiet.
A little sign in here.
Quiet. Yeah, anyways, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Let's drop this. Bye.